How we deal with stress depends on how we've learned to deal with stress. When we have learned that stress is good for us, it's a change, it's an opportunity, then that's the way we're going to embrace it and that's the way we're going to go. But if we have learned from our caregivers or those that were the first and prime examples of how to deal with change, then chances are that when we do get a change in our lives and when situations call for that level of stress so that it gears up into a response or reaction, instead, it really throws us off balance. We don't know what to do. We are so stressed out. And it might take some of us some time to come out of that knee-jerk reaction into a place of, right, now this is what this situation calls for. That gap between the stressor, the knee-jerk reaction, and then the knee-jerk reaction right to when you actually decide what you want to do about that stress comes from what you have inherited, how you have dealt with stress before, and whether you already have a level of stress that is lodged inside of you, that you are already quite stretched. Okay? Now, some of us will have that reaction, quickly switch it into an opportunity, quite swiftly respond to it and make it very constructive. And some of us will make it quite destructive, and that destruction or that cycle of destruction will continue for a while, and then suddenly that same destruction will turn into you forming a constructive response to this, because something else will kick in, which is your belief systems, your values, and you will then decide and go back to the board. How do I want to live my life? What's my mission statement? What's my purpose in life? And if your purpose is to live a life consciously and you want to be in charge of your life, you might come back and give that constructive response to this situation. But what happens when, to some of us, that will have a zero response to this? Or is there any such thing as having a zero response or a reaction to a stressor? Yes, there is. Because there is another type of person that will not have this. And these are the people who are apathetic, or somebody who is quite numb to what is going on. And again, that numbness doesn't come from a place of this stress is not registering because they are so desensitized, and perhaps because they have already faced such high levels of stress that this just doesn't register as anything that requires any level of attention. And chances are that these same people have a sort of escapist tendency, or they are already living in a bit of a cocoon, and they're unable to get out of this. And this is where a high level of stress that you might have been exposed to as a child, or even in your previous years, or you might have gone through a traumatic event or something that has registered, but your brain hasn't had time to recover from that, and therefore you're still in that. And by not having that response is also a reaction to that. And that reaction that you're having is one of doing nothing about it. And doing nothing about it, if it is coming from a place of it is just not registering. And this is when we are, switched off, when we're not there. we're not present, something is missing. And this is again a telltale sign that imminent help is needed, because we have in us different states, and we're capable of being in these different states. That you wake up, you're in dream state, you're in wake state, and you're in sleep state. You've got these states that we are constantly going through. And we will feel life, you feel everything. And one thing of being fully awake and fully aware and fully conscious is that you feel the whole gamut of experiences, which is why it is sometimes so damn difficult for an empath or somebody who is that sensitive, that you'll avoid harsh environments, you'll avoid situations that don't call for that kind of a reaction in you, because your body will react. You might throw up and you might have all sorts of other reactions. But we're talking specifically about those who just do not react to any stressor. Okay? Then you have a reaction or a response to a stressor that is neither constructive nor destructive. It's neutral. Yeah? It's neutral because you've not had a knee-jerk reaction to it. It's just simply a situation that has come into life. You're facing that situation and you wade through it. You wade through it and you go with the nuances and you go with the motions of whatever is required for that moment. And this is a state that is quite difficult for a lot of us to achieve, because you have to already be in a state of expanded consciousness and already feel quite neutral to be able to wade through these life situations. And when we practice every day how we want to live, and do you want to live from a place of reactivity, or do you want to respond to whatever life brings? And with responding, it's if your life situation demands that you've got to now move out of your house, you go with the motions. You set up removal companies, and you sort out whatever it is that needs to be sorted out without getting frazzled, without getting negatively stressed out about this, but calmly wading through the turbulence that can happen as well. And for that neutral gear to come in is that you've got to practice being this neutral person every day. The one thing that is so important is for you to build this amazing razor sharp awareness of, where am I? Why am I reacting like this? Or why am I responding to this? What you really want to try to get at is having that neutral response, or just, it is so neutral, so calm. And to get to that stage with awareness, with patience, and you have this committedness about you, and you make yourself your own mission. It's about mastering yourself, right? You master yourself, and these are life situations. They'll pass. You go through everything, and you take your time, and you go through everything. Things will happen. My little one is 3, and he always says to me, "Mom, things happen." Yeah. So come into your neutral space. And this is when, when we fold our hands together, we're coming into a neutral space, because we're bringing everything together. Everything just comes together. And from this together place, you're able to just wade through life in the best way possible for you. Don't feel calm if you don't feel calm. Okay? Feel calm because that's how you're really feeling. Feel happy because that's how you're really feeling. Whatever you're feeling, conquer it. Get on top of your own feelings, and then you'll be able to get on top of life.